So we have a shocking development, or at least shocking to me, about the 2020 presidential election. Justin Amash said the following: "Thanks for your support as I've been exploring a run for president as the potential nominee of the Libertarian Party. I've spent nearly 3 weeks assessing the race, appearing in media, talking to delegates and donors, watching the Libertarian Party's convention plan unfold, and gathering feedback from family, friends, and other advisors. After much reflection, I've concluded that circumstances don't lend themselves to my success as a candidate for president this year, and therefore, I will not be a candidate." Now that thread goes on, and he, gives more about why he's dropping out and what he thinks about the future of the Libertarian Party, which is obviously how he identifies now as part of the Libertarian Party. But here's what actually happened. And we know because, I actually covered pretty closely everything that happened with Justin Amash from when he entered the race. And honestly, he was bullied out of the race. He was bullied out of the race by people in mainstream media and, other establishment politicians who kept telling him and kept insisting, "Oh, so you're going to get Trump reelected. That's what you're going to do. You're going to get Trump reelected. So really you're helping Trump. You're pretending to be against Trump, but you're actually for Trump. And this is all just a big ruse to steal votes from Biden, which will help Donald Trump, which will get him reelected. And so you will go down in history as the guy who got Trump reelected. We hate you. We think you're pathetic. We think you're absurd. We think you're a joke. And for the rest of history, we will treat you as a new Ralph Nader." Because you know how Ralph Nader was blamed for George W. Bush winning, even though it's not his fault. But that's how Ralph Nader was treated in, polite society. Amash would be treated that same way, regardless of the facts, by the way. Regardless of the facts. He would be treated as a spoiler that helped Trump. Even if Trump loses, they would still say, "Oh, Biden would have won by a bigger margin if Justin Amash wasn't in there." And he simply wasn't prepared to get the endless stream of hate from people who are part of the club. And remember, he's a congressman, so he's part of the club. He was in the club. And he made some, nominal anti-Trump noises, and he, supported impeachment or whatever, and he left the Republican Party, so he was getting praise and adoration from other members of the club in the media and Democratic politicians. And he got used to that, and he liked it. And then when he announced his run, and it was all negative feedback, basically he punked out. He was like, "All right, what am I going to do? I don't want to be hated the rest of my life, so I'm going to back out." Now that's interesting, because a guy like Justin Amash is good on civil liberties issues. And, if you talk to guys like Glenn Greenwald, he'll tell you that this is one of the few principled voices in Congress. But I guess what I would say to Justin Amash is, well, if you're really principled, then you should be able to tune out all the noise of the people wrongly blaming you. And there shouldn't be an issue here. You should be able to run, and whatever happens, happens. But he punked out. He's he doesn't want to do it. Now, I don't know if he ever thought he really had a chance, but he almost admitted in a previous segment that we covered on the show that this is more about getting the Libertarian Party more viable for the future. If he gets 5% of the vote, he gets what's called matching funds, which helps the party moving forward, makes them a more viable option. And I think that he knew that was his goal, running as a Libertarian, would be to make the Libertarian Party more viable. I don't think he would have hit that level. I don't think he would have gotten to that 5% number. And maybe that's one of the reasons as well why he dropped out, but I honestly think it's just because he didn't want the endless stream of hate. But I have to say, man, even though I'm not a Justin Amash supporter, I wouldn't have voted for him. I so despise every single person who made the BS argument that he was going to hand the election over to Trump, because they have no idea. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're honestly just making it up. Because ideologically, Amash is actually much more on the right than he is on the left. And it's very possible that people who were leaning Trump, who were libertarian-ish in their own ideology, would have voted for Amash. So we don't know. We don't know if all of his votes would have been pulled from Trump, all of his votes would have been pulled from Biden, it would have been 50-50, it would have been, whatever, 75-25, whatever it may be. No, we just don't know. But people pretended like they knew, and see, this is the thing, they're already making the excuses for Biden. Up front, they're already making the excuses that if Biden loses, it's of course not because he's Joe Biden and he can't freaking talk and he's got a terrible record. No. It's got to be other people's fault, so let's already get our excuses lined up in a row, and this, Same thing we saw with Hillary. Oh, blame James Comey. Blame the FBI. Blame sexism. Blame Russia. The list goes on and on. So anyway, blame the Bernie bros. He was already being used as a scapegoat, and I don't think he was comfortable being a scapegoat, but I wish he stayed in. I wish he ran. Even though we have a two-party system, and I don't think we're going to break this two-party system, I think it's going to stay as is, and we're kind of stuck with it. But I still like the option and the idea of having other options, because it's for people like me. Now, again, I wouldn't vote for Justin Amash. I might vote for the Green Party candidate. We'll see. But, like, that's what that exists for people like me who really, at this point, there's not a chance in hell I vote for Trump or Biden. They just don't represent me. I don't agree with them. So I like having that option to go vote. And it's kind of amazing that you have a professional class and a media class and a group of elites who will do everything in their power to say, I don't believe in democracy, I don't believe in freedom, and I want to take away more options from you. And so I'll just shame this guy out of the race and out of existence. And I really think that that's what happened with Justin Amash. And I think it's pathetic. And I think everybody who used that kind of an argument against Amash, they're morons. They're elitist morons, and they actively are trying to give you a lesser of two evils election, which is just beyond pathetic.